Jess, I am dying, and I have made my peace with it. I have said goodbye to every sweet thing that I love, to the cardinal over the sink that entertains me so generously over the dishes, to the taste of watermelon on a scorching July day. Said goodbye even to your father's laugh, how it rises up from his belly and he throws his head back. But oh, Jess, I cannot make peace with leaving you. What I would not give to see you through. Her words, they were predictable. The words of any mother, but they were no less powerful. Maybe she would have written even more if she'd known that Jess would read that letter, not now and then, but 1,000 times over. Her tears falling onto the pages, mixing with her mother's tears, the ink running into the creases. She had written a lot, 4 or 5 pages of tender, sweet words, and then she had started into the section of advice, instructions, warnings. Like every mother, she wanted to ride on the handlebars of her daughter's life. That part of the letter had made her tired, thinking of all the things she had not taught her, and now there was no time. She had not taught her how to choose a ripe avocado in the store, or how to make a buttercream frosting, or how to get out of a bad relationship. And now she knew there were so many things she would not be able to protect her from. She had put the pen down, aware of how tired she was. The doctor had said all over when he used the word cancer. She wanted to be a little girl again. She wanted to sit in her grandmother's lap. That family Bible opened up, the beautiful gold around the pages. Her favorite, of course, were the pages with the pictures. Most of all, the 2 from Jesus' life on the facing pages. On one page, there was Jesus' baptism. She remembered her grandmother touching the dove in the picture as she read that scripture, "Oh, you are my beloved. In you I am so well pleased." She had wanted just to linger there, but she couldn't for long, because on the very next page, Jesus, still wet from those waters, was being led right into that wilderness by that very dove. She remembered touching the page and asking her grandmother why. If her grandmother was there today, she would ask her why. Why the cancer, and why war? Why is it that life hurts sometimes so much? She remembered that her grandmother had been silent for a long time. And then she remembered the sigh. And then she had said, "Oh, sweet one, there is so much that we do not know, so much mystery that is the very heart of life." Then her grandmother had pointed to that dove. But there is one thing that we do know. Every moment, the presence of God, it is like our mother's womb. It is like those waters of the river, nourishing and sustaining always around us. That is all we finally know. That voice of the one who splits the heavens wide open. She had heard her grandmother's words that day when she had gone back to the doctor's office for her cancer checkup. 3 years. She expected to hear, "Cancer-free," but she could tell before the doctor had even spoken. Noticed how his body tensed in his straight back chair as he turned, holding the scan, and he began to point to it with his finger. All the tumors. But she had not seen his hand that day, but her grandmother's hand, pointing to that dove. And when the doctor began to speak, she had not heard his voice, but her grandmother's voice. You are my beloved. In you I am so pleased. And hearing her grandmother's voice whispering in her ear that day, she had put the pen down, finished the letter with that verse of scripture to her daughter, "You are my beloved, in you I am well pleased." And then she had closed her eyes to rest. Oh, how she would have smiled if she could have seen her daughter through. How she would have smiled if she could have been there 20 years later when Jess, now a grown woman, a mother for the first time, had carried her sweet son into that church, standing with her husband, fiddling with the gadget on the camera, and her father, who was beaming right up from his belly. But of course she was there. For when the minister began to pronounce that word of blessing, "You are my beloved," it was not his voice that Jess had heard. It was her mother's voice. And underneath that, her grandmother's voice. And underneath that, that voice at the heart of creation that splits the heavens wide open just to say to us, "You are my beloved. In you